Hi everybody, welcome back, and we're sitting here with Heaven Thornton. And why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay. Well, first I'd like to say thank you for being here. My name is Heaven, and I am a hairstylist and a makeup artist. I have been doing hair and makeup for, oh my goodness, I'm going to give my age away, 27 years? 26 years, maybe? And so, yeah, I do makeup. I'm an airbrushed makeup artist. My specialty is airbrush makeup.
Right there.
With the airbrush, and she wanted me to give her some pointers, but I've never airbrushed a flat surface. I've only done the curves of the face and the body. So I told her, I said, well, let me take a class and let me learn what I need to know, and then I can give you some pointers. So a couple weeks later, I took a class with my mom just for fun, and we had a blast. I learned so much, never been into baking before, but they gave us all the pointers of how to make a good cookie, gave us the recipe. I follow it to a T. It's amazing. Like, when I eat these cookies, I'm like, I can't believe I made this. And so I took the class, and they were saying how you can airbrush the cookies. I'm like, that's what I really want to do. And so I just baked some for fun, and I posted them on Facebook. And the next thing I know, I have friends that I went to high school with that are like, hey, can you make Peppa the Pig? And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. And so I tried, and they came out cute. And then I posted those. And then I had someone else call me and say, hey, can you make something this, and can you make that? Before I knew it, within 1 week of doing these cookies, I had a wedding come in. I did my first wedding, and I had a cookie order for every single week for the next 2 months. I couldn't believe it. And so I've been buying supplies as needed and just having a lot of fun with it. And I'm still to the point where, like, I can't believe I'm doing this, and I can't believe that it's actually turned into a business that I do for friends and family. Again, not professional by any means, but I have so much fun doing this.
That sounds fun. I would love to do that.
So it's just kind of utilizing talents that were already there, and it's basically giving me a new canvas to work on. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Thanks.
That is. So what are you going to show us today?
Well, I'm just going to show you like a basic cookie. I'm going to take this little lid off here. And I came prepared because I know your favorite cartoon character
Oh,
is the Hulk.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, what a surprise.
Oh, Heaven.
So here, let me turn this around so you can kind of
Get a
see
good
it.
shot of this here.
This is the progress shots. And of course, these aren't finished yet. We're going to do those live.
They even smell amazing.
Would never know. You're not professional. You are very professional.
Thank you. So yeah, these are the different stages that they go through. This whole process takes almost a week to make. So that's why when I say I need at least a week's notice, that's only if I already have the cutters by chance. If it's a special order, I need at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks, in order to have a cutter made. I came prepared. This was a special cutter that I actually had made. This is the Hulk cutter.
Oh, interesting.
And so I ordered it as soon as you asked me if I would do this. I was like, I gotta get a Hulk. I gotta get a Hulk cookie cutter. So, 2 to 3 weeks is actually best for placing an order with me. Even more time than that is even better. So
For any size order, like a dozen cookies,
No.
2 dozen, doesn't matter.
No, I've done everything from a dozen to 9 dozen. That was my largest order so far, was 9 dozen cookies. Yeah.
Sweet.
And so yeah, this is how it starts with this little cutter. It's a process. So making of the dough, sometimes I do that in 1 day because it has to chill overnight for the best results. You want the dough nice and firm. Then the next day I roll it all out and bake it. So depending on how many cookies I do, it can take anywhere from an hour to sometimes 4 to 5 hours in the kitchen.
Lots of time.
It is. Then they have to cool down completely before you can do any type of frosting to them. So I've got a couple of little things. So this is just your basic flat cookie. Okay, this has nothing on it. And then what I did was I made my own little stencil. I'm not fancy enough to have a projector yet. I'm working on that. So I just drew a little stencil, and I learned this little technique. Again, I watch a lot of YouTube videos of different cookie decorating techniques, and this was one that was like my favorite. Because even though I do have a little bit of artistic skills, I don't consider myself an artist. So all I have to do is pick up the cookie, and we're going to get this set up real quick. I hope that's not too loud. And I'm going to grab, let's just do some, all my little colors that I have created. There's my little airbrush.
Wow.
And this is a real quick way. Just a couple little drops in there. Make sure it works. We're just going to quickly make an outline. And I'm going to do the hair. And then I would go around the entire cookie to get the outline done. Okay? Once that's done, it will look like this one
Oh, wow.
here.
Sweet.
So that's my outline. Then you want to do what's called a flood. And the flood is that part of the icing that's real smooth, okay? So, and it's real simple to do. After you get your outline, come on little frosting bag, cooperate with me. There we go. You just go in, and it's got this nice runny frosting, and you would fill it all in. And this frosting here, it's probably, I would have to say, is the hardest part of the baking, is getting the consistency right.
Homemade frosting?
It is homemade.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Homemade royal frosting.
You couldn't be on a diet and be a professional.
No, and you know what? It's funny because I just recently started on what's called a healthy keto diet. And sugar is the devil, and I am not allowed to have any sugar, no flour, no wheat. And so it's a good thing I've been doing this for a while. And I've had people around me that have tasted the cookies, so I can say, here, taste this. Is this good?
Oh, wow.
Because
Sure
I
it's
can't
okay.
right now.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
a reason why
alright.
they say, yeah, there's a reason why they say
No.
you can't trust the skinny cook. So yeah, so that, okay. Then I have these little trusty tools here that, see these little bubbles? We just go around and just softly connect it, pop any little holes. And this gets done to every cookie, because you want that frosting to be nice and smooth. There we go. Just like that.
Oh.
So that's the flood part. And then again, when that's dry, it looks like this. So it'll dull out a little bit. Then the next step would be to do the same thing with the darker frosting. And each step you do, you have to wait for it to dry.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to bleed into your colors, and you won't get clean lines that way. So, and each time you do a different color, you have to wait at least an hour to 2 hours
Wow.
between each color. So there's a lot of downtime. When you're going to add any more frosting to a flood, you have to let it dry for overnight, minimum of 8 hours. So again, a lot of downtime with these. Do some decorating, let it sit. Do some decorating, let it sit. So then we have our eyes already flooded into this one, same technique. It's just got the eyes. So now this is sat overnight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little guy out. This is my netting that I made, or bought, I should say. And I've got my little homemade stencil out of paper, nothing fancy. And we're gonna put, my fan is blowing, put that in the center. And this is just a little cross-stitching ring. Again, this was a technique that I learned from watching,
Has it always been easy for you to pick up like the things you watch like that fast?
I'm a monkey see, monkey do. If I see it, I can usually copy it. As far as like being artistic and coming up with stuff just like on my own, out of my own brain, not the best with that. But I can take an idea and change it a little bit to kind of make it my own, you know. So yeah, this was just something that I learned watching. Oh, I just broke it. Watching YouTube. It's like one of my favorite things to do when I'm not doing hair and when I'm not baking and decorating cookies and singing in the kitchen while I'm baking. I am watching YouTube videos of how to decorate cookies. So again, I'm going to use my trusty little airbrush. We're going to take this color out. And I need something a little darker. Where's my green? There we go. And again, this is going to help so that my lines come out consistent every single cookie. There's several different ways. Some people will just take an edible marker and trace it on the cookie. That works. But once I learned this little technique, I'm like, oh, I am so doing that. So we're just going to line up the mouth. I'm just going to give it a little spray with my trusty airbrush. Make sure I got it all covered. Voila.
Wow.
Wow.
Just like
Look
that.
at that.
So now I can go back with my other frosting. I've already got this all made up. Just want to make sure I don't cut that too big. There we go. It's messy. My hands sometimes like look like I'm a construction worker because my hands get so messed up. So we're just going to come around here. We are going to give him some angry eyebrows. Let's give him
She has your photo on there, babe.
pupils. Voila.
Cut real quick.
Awesome.
Take a picture.
I get it.
Are we ready?
Ready.
All right, so we've got our little airbrush design there. Now we're going to give this dude some personality. So all I have to do is follow his lines. There we go. Nice little angry brows. We're going to give him some pupils. Move that around. And this frosting is a little too thin for my perfect frosting consistency, but we're still just going to roll with it here. If I had to do a whole bunch of these, I would probably go back in and remix to where I have that perfect thick consistency that I like for this piping. Under chin. Let's drag that out. There we go. Just like that. And if you want to add a little bit more personality to it, you can come in and just add a couple of little swishes. These don't have to be perfect by any means. Ta-da!
Wow.
Do you ever feel like a painter, like you're doing art?
Yes!
That's very
In fact,
artistic.
I do some cookies where I do airbrush scenery on them. And I've sent them to my uncle, I sent them to a friend of my parents who just came out of the hospital. And the problem is, nobody wants to eat them.
Because
They're
too
like,
pretty.
they're too pretty. And they are like, I just put mine in the freezer. And I'm like, you gotta eat it.
Right?
That's the whole, this is edible art. You gotta eat it. So this is how it will look once that dries, and again, best for it to dry overnight, then what I would do is wrap them up individually and package them up. I'm going to grab one of these little guys, pardon my reach. I would put it in a little plastic. That way they're easy to hand out to your guests or to your party. You could put these right on your table as your party favor. And I always put my little
Sticker
logo.
right here.
O for Heaven Bakes. My best friend designed this logo for me. And this way, they get a business card. It seals the cookie up all in one.
Wow.
One right
That's actually a
there.
great idea, Patrick.
Yep. And then usually with my orders of 12 or more, I like to include a thank you cookie. And this is because sometimes they're just thinking like, oh, there's going to be 12 kids at the party, let me get 12 cookies. So, and then the parent doesn't get a cookie, or the person ordering doesn't get a cookie and they don't get to taste it, and they're the ones that paid
Oh,
for
they
it.
miss out, yeah.
So I always just have fun. This is just a little something extra that I like to do. I always put a thank you cookie in the order. That way, whoever paid for them gets to have a cookie of their own.
That's not only sweet, that's a brilliant idea if you think about that.
It's a
You know,
sweet
it-
idea.
Yeah, it's paid off. When I go to little events, I even when I'm doing my hair, whenever I make up a batch, I will make some extra like 1-inch star cookies and just have a few on hand. And that way, when I'm telling my customers about it, or they see them on Facebook or on Instagram, I'm like, hey, you want to taste one? And I can give them a little sample so they can taste it.
Brilliant.
And they love it. And then today I was actually out singing at a church, and they had a little potluck afterwards, which was why I made the little patriotic stars. And I took these for the potluck, and there was several people that were like, I'm going to call you for an order.
And then you turn around, go, my card's on the
My
back.
card is on the back. So it is something fun that I do. I really enjoy every minute of it. I've learned to enjoy the baking. I used to not when I first got started. I didn't really like the baking of it because I'm like, oh, it's so boring. But now I've truly come to love even the baking part of it. And again, it's a new canvas for a talent that's already been there. So yeah.
You talk about the cookies and everything and airbrushing, and you know, you work with makeup. Is it, in a way, is it similar, like working on a face?
You know, it's very similar. It's the same tool. It's the same airbrush. The product is similar in texture, but of course this is edible. This is safe to eat. And it's a flat surface, so it's a little easier than trying to do curves around the nose and the eyes, and you know, doing shapes on a round surface. So it's a lot easier. I think the hardest thing for me to get used to is the fact that I'm bent over this way instead of up.
Right.
So when I have these big orders that have been coming in, it's wreaking havoc on my shoulders and my back, and thank goodness I got CBD products. Because I rub a little bit of that on and my pain goes away and I can keep going.
You could tell us a little bit about those CBD products.
CBD, you know what, actually, that's going to be coming next. I was turned on to CBD a couple years ago. Again, one of my clients, I like to keep it in the family. His sister makes these amazing products. And so I asked her, I'm like, you know what, I tell people about stuff that I like, no matter what. Can I start buying from you and reselling it? So I kind of became a distributor for her, and her products are amazing. It's mostly topicals that I have, and I do have like gummies, but that's about the only edible that I have. It's healing without the high. So you get the benefits of sleep. Oh my goodness, I sleep like a baby. No more pain, no more inflammation, and me, I am so high strung that I have anxiety all the time from all my crazy stuff that I do, that it helps me to focus, and I don't feel overwhelmed. It's like a feeling of, I got so much to do, but I can breathe, and without being like high. It's amazing. I love them.
Is it daily or is it as needed?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. It's an as needed for like inflammation, for anxiety. I just take it every day both morning and night, because it just helps me so much. And I've been talking to her, and she has found a way to medicate butter.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
So my
Keto
next
friendly.
step is I will be making sugar cookies that have CBD, which is going to be what I will sell, and then I will be making some for her to sell that actually has the THC in it, which is
Oh,
the
wow.
compound that will cause the high. But yeah, just for me personally, I love CBD. I love the natural effect of it, and the fact that I still have control. Because I'm a control freak. So it's amazing. My boyfriend uses it. He's a 5-time combat vet, and he suffers from PTSD. And he wakes up with horrible nightmares, and he doesn't sleep well, and he has social anxiety. So he uses the CBD to help him get better sleep at night, and it's amazing to see.
Oh, wow. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, what it can do. And the way she's going to be medicating the butter, you will not be able to taste it in the cookies.
Oh, wow.
So it won't change the amazing taste. Which you need to do, by the way. So,
Oh,
All right.
there you
there
go.
we go.
I don't want to bite into it and
I
ruin
know.
it. It's just,
It's too cool. It's your
Oh,
portrait
man.
right there.
wow, it smells and looks delicious.
The flavoring that I use isn't just regular vanilla. It's a butter vanilla.
Ooh.
Yes. So it has a nice, creamy, buttery vanilla flavor to it.
All right. Ready? Wow. That is,
Is
really
it the
good.
creamy?
That is good. Yeah, it's smooth. You said you use butter? The butter, right? The
Well,
butter vanilla?
it's a butter vanilla is the flavoring that I use in both the frosting
That's why it
and
says
the
That
cookie.
that's smooth. I love that. It's like a lot of cookies that look good, but you bite into them and they crumble or
Yes.
they're dry.
Yes.
Not this. This just tastes like you just made it. Tell you the truth.
And they last because they do take a week
Good.
for me to. All right, camera lady. Here, we'll let you take that one home. Here, you taste that one there.
Oh,
So yeah, because they do take a week to make, and I do again
Oh,
like I
heaven.
take. You like it?
I love
That's
it.
good. That's amazing.
You know, a lot of times they look really good, and you go to bite it, and they're not.
They're not good.
It's eye
They're
candy.
not.
a lot of
It is
times.
eye candy.
Yeah.
It's like a decoration somewhere.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
How do you not eat these all the
Oh, I
time?
know. Trust me, that's why I have to be on a diet. My
Wow.
instructor that I took my class from, that was one of the first things that she said was, it's good to have a cookie that's beautiful, and it's good to have a cookie that tastes good. So you need to find the healthy balance. Like, you don't want to spend so much time on your cookies that, again, nobody wants to eat them, but also that they've dried out and they
Yeah.
don't taste good. So when I do these, I keep everything separate from what I use in my own personal kitchen to what I use for baking. My cookie sheets are separate. All my utensils
wow.
are separate. I don't cross-contaminate with anything. I sanitize the kitchen really good with disinfectant wipes before I get started. And I try to keep like containers with lids, so while I'm decorating, then they get covered so that they can dry. And because little flies
That's
and
good
stuff,
to know, actually.
yeah,
That's really good
they
to know.
get in, and I want to be able to give good quality products to my friends, and so yeah, I keep them covered as much as I can. But again, since they take so long, you don't want to give this dried out cookie to somebody. But even like this is already a week old
Is it really?
It doesn't even
Yes.
taste like it.
because they take a week to make.
And how have you been storing it in just the
Just store it
storage
in
container?
a container, and even
I really thought you baked these.
yeah,
like
no, they're
here
already
within the day or two.
A week old. They keep for several weeks, and when I keep them in containers, I have a little. It's like a little fake cookie that I soak in water, and that helps keep the moisture in with the cookies.
Wow.
But once they're individually wrapped, that keeps the air
Come on,
off.
don't
of
give
them.
too much out because
Not giving away all my secrets.
Don't give too many of those out because
Yeah.
that's
not
But yeah, it's for safety and to preserve them, and again, they're all custom made. So if you have a child and they love, in fact, I'm gonna be doing Mario Brothers coming
wow.
and
Wow.
he loves Mario. I just did PJ masks with
I've heard of that one.
No,
Not-
it's like this big thing for the little one.
Is it a newer one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
Sounds
kids
familiar, yeah.
that when they put their PJs on and go to bed, they turn into superheroes or something like
Yes.
that.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I did
very
PJ
good.
Masks ones, and you can find all my cookies that I've done on my Instagram. My Instagram page, O for Heaven Bakes, with an S, Bakes. So, so yeah, all my cookies are on there. And
Wow.
I love the fact that even again, like someone's like, I kept it for a week and I ate it and it was
good.
still good. I'm like, yeah.
This thing, it's moist. Like, oh my gosh.
It has a little bit of a cake-like texture. Some people even said like a shortbread.
Shortbread
Yeah,
type cookie.
shortbread to a cake-type texture. They're very soft.
But it's
They're
a
not one of those
cookie.
hard, brittle cookies that you buy. And you can custom order. I can also put names on cookies. And so I just, again, have to have
Okay.
enough time for an order to have the stencil made. And I use stenciling, and I can put names or businesses if you want your business
There you
logo on a cookie for a party that you're going to do as
And
thank
you're also
yous.
available for like weddings and
Oh, yeah. Yep.
sweet 16s, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no limit. You know, you ever do it. It'd be creative. It'd be something new. Whatever you do in your office party, this is creative. This is something anybody could get a cake or bring donuts in. Why? This is something different.
Yeah.
This is
Personal.
something new. Yeah.
Yeah, I even have people that have ordered as gifts for people.
Mm.
So, like one of the orders that I did were Friends cookies from the TV show Friends, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
my favorite. So I love doing those.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
we got
I-
into.
Yep, Friends. And so she was like, yeah, they're big Friends fans, so just have fun with it. And I made the logo, I did the front door with the little peephole frame around it. I had one that had the song written on there.
wow.
I did a little cat that said Smelly Cat. And so what she did
Then we're
was
gonna have you
she-
sing "Smelly Cat."
she packaged them up, and that was the
my
gift
gosh.
for her friends. Yeah, and they loved them.
That is creative. That's,
Yep.
and pretty much if they bring the idea, you can either do it or get close to it. right?
Yeah. I can either follow the design that they want. In fact, let me grab this. These are little fiesta dresses that I did, 2 weeks ago? For a baby shower. She was having a fiesta style baby shower, and they sent me a picture of a dress, and I'm like, yeah. I said it may not be exact, but I will put my own little artistic flair to it and just get it as close to that as possible. And they loved them. They
These are
just
awesome. They're
Right on.
beautiful.
they thought, yeah, that was a lot. That's all piping
That's
work
a lot
too.
of detail
Yeah, it was
involved.
a lot of detail. And so yeah, it just
Can I
I
put
have
this
so
one on
much
too?
fun, and it's just like the sky's the limit. You know, like if you can say, hey, can you do something like this? I can try to just run with that idea. One of my friends from high school just contacted me, and she wants me to do cookies for her husband for his birthday, and he's into hunting. So, and I was like, well, do you have a look? And she's like, no, just, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'll just run with it.
Just roll.
Yeah, and
Camo
I'll have
and-
fun. The more free artistic flair that I can put on it, the more I have fun with it, the better the cookies
Yeah.
come out. Yeah. But if someone's like, I want it exactly like this, like exactly, that's when I'm like, oh, this is going to be a pain. But
What's
It's kind of like hair.
What's that Instagram again? Where were we?
we'll charge you a $6 stencil fee. Otherwise, if it's one that I might be able to use again, like I've got Dodger t-shirts that I'm going to be doing next week.
That's so
And so,
So cool.
I didn't charge her a stencil fee because I'm going to be able to use that again. I'm sure there's going to be another Dodger fan out there. And my friend's stencils that I had made, I didn't charge for, I had like 6 stencils made. And so, yeah, it's roughly, on average, it's $36 a dozen. And, yeah, I mean, it may fluctuate a little bit more down the line because my prices of my materials go up.
Yeah.
But that's roughly, yeah, just reach out and say, hey, you know, I saw you on Tiny. Is any friend of Tiny's a friend of mine. So you can be like, yeah, I saw you on Tiny's show, and I, you know, want you to do some cookies for me.
I know we talked about all the fun stuff and what goes into it, but now let's talk about another part of it. Is there anything frustrating about what you do?
There's a couple things. First of all, the frosting consistency, I think, is what frustrates me while making them. Just making sure that consistency of the flood is creamy enough and that it's thick enough to hold the shape when you need to. That can be a little bit, but honestly, it's dealing with the people that are like, oh, well, can't you get me a better price? And it's like, these things take so much time. Like, I'm already giving a really good price
Yes.
for how long they take to make. And, you know, and it's like, I think it's because of, oh, it's a sugar cookie. You can buy them in the store. Like, my mom made these, but it's not the art form to it, you know? So it's like when people are like, oh, you charge too much, it's like, it's kind of an insult in a way of like, I charge too much for a talent that I'm doing, like, I'm
Right.
doing you a favor and you're going to tell me I charge too much? Or when they say, well, so-and-so does them for $20 a dozen.
Oh my-
Well, then go to so-and-so.
Right?
Because, you know, like, they may not taste as good and they may not look as good, you know, but I do. I stand behind. And if it was something where I didn't enjoy doing it, or if I personally didn't think they tasted good, I wouldn't put myself out there. Like, I'm that way with everything. Like, when I do hair, like, I have to like it before I know you're going to like it. So if I look at it and I think, hey, this looks good, now let me get your reaction to it. And if you're not happy, we're going to do whatever it takes to make you happy. And I'm that way with everything that I do in life. Like,
wow.
I'm a perfectionist. I do everything very tedious. Sometimes it drives my boyfriend nuts, but I am meticulous about everything that I do. And I want it to be perfect because that's my name on that product. I'm not just going to slop something together for you because, again, that's my name on that product that you're going to be giving out to your friends and family.
And you put everything into it.
Yes, I do. I do.
It'd be like the equivalent of going into like a museum and buying a painting and, oh, can you bring the price down?
Yeah.
I mean, a famous painter painted it and you want to get half price on it.
An
Oh,
artist, it's your talent.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But other than that, like, it's joy. I listen to music and I sing while I'm decorating and baking, and I'm sure I drive my parents and my boyfriend bananas sometimes, but and I make a mess in my mom's dining room every week, and then I try to clean it up when I'm not
Sounds
here.
like fun.
It is.
Sounds like fun.
It is. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
So yeah, so go to the Instagram. It's O for Heaven Bakes, and honestly, you're missing out if you don't check these. At least check these out.
They're so yummy.
They are delicious.
I'm sad I can't eat one.